Welcome to Off, Over 50 and Fired. Now what? It's hosted by Linda
and Shelley.
And we're here just to share our experience and our journey forward as we move on. From the time that we heard that we were fired,
severed,
retired, maybe one early, unexpectedly, and sort of what happened from the initial communication, how we're dealing with it in the aftermath of it, and then what is it leading us to. And we're hoping that us chatting about these things is going to help someone else, inspire others, and give other people some ways to deal with the situation if you're in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and just to have some overall common experiences. So, it's only been about a week for us that we found out the news, and now it's just about starting that journey and moving forward.
And we're going to do this in a very casual way. It's just us sitting basically in a living room with a nice glass of wine, right, Shelley?
Yes.
Just telling our story.
With a little bossa nova in the background as well. And to Linda's point around the wine, we'll also make some nice wine recommendations as we move forward.
That's right. So maybe we should talk a little bit first about kind of staging that. Even though we worked for the same place, we have a little bit of a different background. So I've been with the company for numerous number of years, like what probably some people would call almost like a lifetime. But you're a bit different. Shelley came to the organization with her unique skill set just in the last few years.
Yeah, around 6 years.
Right. So we are going to come at it, I think, from a little bit of a different perspective. So if you kind of hear our story, Shelley's coming at it from being someone
more of a short-termer versus a long-termer or a long-timer, which would be Linda.
Yeah.
Yep.
So let's get started.
Sure.
So, Shelley, what do you think would be best for us to start with and talking about?
I think it's our initial feelings. What we were experiencing when we, first heard the news, and just what we were feeling.
So, how did you feel?
Shitty. I felt bad. I was a little bit surprised, not completely surprised, but I really felt like I had made a lot of significant contributions, and it was just, kind of shocking to me to hear that, and wasn't quite sure. I knew I'd be okay, but I needed to take it all in and just try to start absorbing it.
Yeah, I think from my perspective, I was a bit shocked because it didn't jive with our culture. We tend to have a company that we work for, which kind of has a big, strong, caring component to it. But in this case, that's the thing that I think shocked me the most is I knew it might come. I knew it might be significant, but I just didn't think it really would happen. So it was like that initial thing about it's happening. Okay, take it in, go through it. And then I think the first thing that I thought was one of your initial feelings is, what, I didn't contribute enough? Like the things that I've done aren't worthwhile?
Yeah, it kind of makes you feel a little worthless, right?
Exactly, exactly. I think that's the thing that can kind of keeps coming back. That's why every once in a while, even though, as you said, I think, I feel like I can move forward. I'll find something else. I have a unique skill set and I can move forward. But that whole thing about not being needed or feeling that you're not as valued as you thought you were, it always kind of gives you that little weird stomach angst.
It gives you that angst. That freaking little pit in your stomach and that tightness in your chest. It's so annoying.
And that sickening feeling like in your stomach that just keeps cropping up every once in a while.
And don't you feel like you're kind of, for me, and I think you too maybe, I feel like I'm on this little roller coaster. I'll have these highs and lows where I'm really excited about the potential opportunity. But to your point, then you kind of just stand back and you're like, wow, I just got fucking fired, or whatever. I'm let go. And, I really did feel like I was making a lot of good, unique contributions, and it's gone. And maybe I was just a legend in my own mind. It kind of created a lot of self-doubt, like, wow, was I the only person that thought I was, making a lot of good contributions? But that roller coaster stuff it's a killer. those ups and downs? I mean, do you feel like you get those ups and downs?
I do, like, because, sometimes when I'm going through the day, I get immersed in, because I'm still working there, right? So for Shelley and I, we're still going through the period where we haven't
We're
actually.
the lame ducks.
Yes.
We're lame ducks. Quack, quack. That's us. We're just friggin' lame ducks, man. I mean, we've got work.
We have work. And so I think my first instinct was to bury myself in the work. Like, it was almost like, I'm going to prove them that they've made a terrible mistake, because I'm going to continue to produce, and I'm going to continue to give like quality work. There's no way that I'm going out without them realizing that I'm dedicated and that I can contribute, and that they're going to miss out. But then there would be other times where all of a sudden it would just hit me, like if I had to have a conversation with my husband or my daughter, or I had to like tell someone, then that it went right back down. It was just like that sinking feeling, thing about not feeling that self-worth would come back.
Yep. And I totally agree with that, because, it's so cool that at least you've had the conversations with your husband, your daughter knows, and I'm really struggling it, because I'm like the nucleus for my family. I'm the little financial person that everybody relies on. And I can't tell anybody yet, because I need to have a plan so that I don't feel like my family is going to implode, and worry about me, because I don't want them to worry about me, but it's great to have some connections. It's great we have each other to bounce on, because, we both talked about this the other day, right, Linda, that if we didn't have each other, it would be really hard.
It would be very difficult.
If
I didn't have like a buddy to go through this with, I'm just not quite sure what do I do. And it's not just because I couldn't confide in my husband or my family or anything else, but they're not in there. They're not in it.
Right. And they're not in the same company.
Yes.
They're not getting the same culture responses or whatever it is. So you're right. It's great to have our own we're off buddies, right? In terms of, what we're going to do. And it's nice to have somebody to share this with. Exactly.
And I think for me, what's kind of happened, and I guess maybe it goes through the grief stages or whatever, but I'm slowly slipping more into like my little anger pops up here and there. Like just in talking to people about it, it's starting to get into that phase where I'm just like, why did you have to do this? Like, wasn't there another way around it? And I think that also got accelerated that because for me, at first, I didn't know what to do. Like, I didn't know, should I tell other people? Should I not tell them? Should I have them guess or have them wait to come to me? What's the protocol? I asked my boss, like, what are you going to do about communication? And he kind of looked at me with like this
shock.
Not shock. I wasn't even shocked. It was like quizzical. Like, why are you asking me? And I said, well, is there any communication going out? Is there? And he goes, well, you're not going to get an announcement. And I'm just like, well, I get that you probably don't want to announce forced retirement for people. I get that. But, should I communicate to people out there that I know? Are you going to say something prior to? Like, it was just, to me,
Very
that was
awkward.
the piece that was really strange. And then so I said, you know what? If people come up to me, I'm going to be very honest. Or if people approach me and ask me, hey, did you hear? All these people were let go, can you believe it? And I just immediately just got it off my chest and said, I'm one of them. By the way. And I think for me, Shelley, what kept me, at least in the first week, not like completely going and delving into loathing and just into depression, was the reaction of people who said, no, it can't be you. Why?
Yeah, they were shocked.
Like, you are, talented and you do such a good job. Like, why? And I'm like, I don't know. It wasn't explained to us. It was a purely financial piece that they had to make some decisions. And my understanding from my boss is that these were very tough decisions that they were making.
Yeah. And even though, I mean, some of the things that were said, yes, tough decisions. I think for me, it was the fact that It really was purely financial. And, everybody was out there. And, when you kind of reduce it down to, it's all about the bottom line. It's the dollars and cents. It doesn't matter how much you contributed or not, even though it doesn't make it hurt any less or make you feel disappointed that it happened. It just helped me in terms of saying it's all about the bottom line, man. We just don't matter. We're just a number. Unfortunately, as sad as it is, we're a head count and we're dollars and nothing more.
Yeah, and I think that was, a big, learning from my perspective, and because I'm coming from a person who's been in the same company for a really long time, you kind of get into this, I guess, mutual understanding that, oh, I've been here a really long time. They're going to take care of me. That this would not be something would happen for a long time, employee. But now realizing, no, you got to be ready to go. You've got to be ready to always kind of look out and look for the opportunities as they come.
Yep. And you're right. And so you always need to be prepared. And I think that's one of the things that hopefully we'll be able to communicate through this podcast, our series, is just being prepared, because you really don't know whether it's keeping your resume completely updated all the time and not turning down when a headhunter happens to call you or whatever. Just say, sure, I'll listen to those opportunities, because you just don't know. You heard from me and Linda, we were really both pretty shocked, mostly, that this was happening to us. But I think as long as we can help you guys think about preparation, and when it does happen, you're a good individual. No matter where you are in the organization, you're worth, you'll have these initial reactions, but you're worth something. And it'll always get better for everybody. And I think that's really important. That's one of our mantras is, as one door closes, a better one's going to open. And I think we both believe that. And we really do believe, hopefully, that our podcasts will take off and people will find that they can relate to what we have to say.
Absolutely. And we're hoping that maybe we can even take in some questions or, try to help illuminate some things that people may have on their mind, or just to kind of share and say, you know what, I'm going through the same thing. And it's good to hear that other people are feeling the same thing and, and going through it.
Yep. Absolutely.
So one thing that we had kind of talked about before was, I think what surprised us the most that day and maybe a couple of days after. And I think for me, the big surprise was how unprepared people were to deal with you. Like the people who at least that were in the know, they just didn't seem to know how to react to you, deal with you. Yeah. And that in some cases, at least in my case, I really had to help them through it. And I had to convince them.
You led them through.
I did.
You led them through your severance process.
I had to I'm okay. This is fine. Yep. I'll be good. I'm seeing this as an opportunity. I even tried to bring in some, couple of jokes in there, but it went right over. Like there was.
Yeah. But don't you think it has to do, Linda, with the fact that, our company's not used to doing this. So I think what makes me feel a little bit comfortable about the fact that they were unprepared and didn't know how to handle with us, the situation, is because it was also very sad for them. It's a very sad and unsettling day when you have to tell people that you believe are contributors, but it comes down to dollars and cents and head count, that we no longer need you. And I think because the organization doesn't do it very often, it's rare. But, thank goodness for our own professionalism, because we did believe, we've got good stuff, we've got good skills, we'll survive. But you're right. I just don't think the organization, they don't do it enough, so they just weren't prepared.
I guess. I think I'm a little disappointed.